How's it going, everybody? Today is another episode of my One Piece vlog. It's been about 2 weeks, so I'm excited to get right back to it. And this is an exciting episode because I just finished the Alabasta Arc. We've been working through this storyline for a long time now, and I remembered bits and pieces of it. Very excited to jump into it. So after the intro, we're going to discuss today kind of my overarching thoughts on the Alabasta Arc as a whole. So my initial reactions, I just finished this arc a little bit ago. It's one of my favorites so far in the series. It's right up there with Arlong Park. And the reason I like this arc so much is because it really starts to raise the ante, right? The first few chapters and volumes, it just felt like a story that was engaging. It was humorous, but kind of felt like that was all there was to it. Arlong Park came in, raised the ante, added more emotion and things of that nature, of course, with Nami's plotline, and really took it up a notch, in my opinion. And this Alabasta arc with Crocodile does a similar thing. It shows how much of a large-scale world this actually is, really getting us to see the first warlord. I know we saw Hawkeye Mihawk, but Crocodile, we get to be with Crocodile for more than a chapter or two this time. We get a whole arc and this grand plot of the corruption in the Navy and the corruption of the Kingdom of Alabasta was one of the most interesting things about this arc to me, and it really just shows me what's coming. Like, I know little droplings of what's coming, and so I'm so excited to keep going there because this arc, I feel like, was a great introduction to the Grand Line as well. However, I did have a couple of small things that I think held this arc back from being truly great. And the first one of that is a lot of the side characters, specifically Crocodile's henchmen, all the numbered people, most of them outside of course, Vivi and Robin, who I'll talk about in a little bit, all seemed pretty standard. I didn't really care that much about them. We would fight one of them, and then eventually we had the one-off fights for all of the side characters of the Straw Hat Pirates, even though they're not really side characters because we're with them so much. But those characters, I just didn't really care about them, and it affected my ability to read through those chapters and enjoy them. So I had a difficult time enjoying some of Crocodile's henchmen, but there was also so many factions going at once with the rebellion of Alabasta, and while that was cool for spectacle and showing us the corruption of Crocodile that I really enjoyed, but sometimes I'd be reading for a couple of chapters and I'd be like, I just want to get to what is Luffy, Zoro, Sanji, Vivi. What are they doing? Not these other side characters. And some of the fights were lessened, in my opinion, because the villains that they were fighting were just bland and I didn't care about them. But what I did like from Crocodile's arc specifically, not only was himself as a character really anteing up the head villain, but also Robin and Vivi. Vivi's introduction and how she first starts out as someone we don't like, and then we learn her backstory. She is actually a really tragic character, a really inspiring character, I thought, and one of my favorites in the show so far. Robin was also one of the absolute high points of this arc. The mystery of what she really wants, you never really got a sense that she really cared about the mission that Crocodile was on, and of course, I did know that eventually she joins the crew, so trying to piece those together, she's one of the most interesting characters so far in the show, but we're not too far into her arc. I don't know enough about her to really comment, but I'm excited that she's into the series. She's finally introduced, so that was another highlight of the Alabasta arc. So to just summarize my overall points, I like the scale of it. I like a few of the characters that are introduced, specifically Crocodile, Robin, and Vivi, but the other side characters felt less entertaining than side characters in previous arcs, and they stayed for a lot longer. There were so many factions that at times I lost interest because certain fights would pique my interest and I would just want to read those, and then other fights would be far less interesting. And those little flaws, I feel like, were what held this arc back from being by far the best arc I've read yet in One Piece, but still super enjoyable. I'm really excited to get on to Skypiea next. And so that's it for this episode of the One Piece vlog. And in the next 2 episodes, I will be talking about, in detail, specific fights at the end of the Alabasta Arc. I will be doing one video on Luffy versus Crocodile, and then I will also be doing a video on the other crew members' fights, and the ones I liked and the ones I didn't like, and why that was. So look forward for those 2 videos in the next coming weeks. And also, I hope that you've been watching my Avatar series. I just started making a couple episodes of why I love Avatar: The Last Airbender, one of my favorite shows. I'm so happy to be able to make videos like this. It's been truly awesome, and I got the first episode out a couple of days ago, and then the next 3 to 4 episodes will be coming out in the following weeks. So keep an eye out for those, and I hope to see you guys in the next videos.